It's the third week of January, and the Premier League title race is already over. I know, it's an outrageous statement. It feels fundamentally wrong when there are still 16 games left to play. 16 games is an extremely long time in football. It's almost an eternity. That's 48 potential points up for grabs. It's more than enough time for heroes to fall, for underdogs to rise, and for the entire story of the season to be flipped on its head. And yet, the numbers are telling a story that is incredibly difficult to argue with. A story that suggests we aren't watching a race anymore, but a procession. Arsenal are on a relentless, almost record-breaking pace, and while Manchester City and Aston Villa are desperately trying to cling to their coattails, the mathematical reality is getting starker with every passing week. This isn't about gut feelings or pundit predictions. This is about the cold, hard data. Today, we're going to break down the exact moment the fight could be officially over. We'll calculate the precise match day, when, if everyone's current form holds, it becomes mathematically impossible for Manchester City and Aston Villa to catch Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. The answer is sooner than you think, and the journey to get there reveals the brutal truth of what it takes to win this league. Sorry about this, I'll just take a quick drink. Before we can look into the future, we have to get a crystal clear picture of the present. As of today, January 20th, 2026, after 22 matches, the top of the Premier League table tells a compelling, if slightly lopsided story. Leading the pack, of course, is Arsenal. They've played 22 games and have been stunningly consistent. 15 wins, 5 draws, and only 2 losses. This has earned them a formidable 50 points. They've scored 40 goals and, even more impressively, have conceded a mere 14, giving them a goal difference of 26 plus 26. By every metric, they are the dominant force in the league. Trailing them in second place is Manchester City. They've also played 22 games, but their record is a more human 13 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. This leaves them with 43 points, a full 7 points behind the leaders. Their attack is as potent as ever with 45 goals scored, but a defence that has leaked 21 goals has been their Achilles heel. Their goal difference stands at plus 24. And then we have this season's brilliant surprise package, Aston Villa. In an almost perfect mirror of City, Unai Emery's side also has 43 points from 22 games, with an identical record of 13 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. Where they differ significantly is goal difference. Villa scored 33 and conceded 25, leaving them with a goal difference of plus 8. So, the gap is 7 points. On the surface, that seems gettable. We've all seen bigger gaps overturned. But to truly understand the mountain that City and Villa have to climb, we need to go to beyond simple points and look at the single most important metric for this kind of projection: points per game, or PPG as it's often referred to. PPG is the lifeblood of a title challenge. It's the average number of points a team earns from each match, and it smooths out the noise of individual results to give us a powerful indicator of a team's true underlying performance. A team that maintains a high PPG is a team with relentless consistency required to be a champion. Let's look at the current PPG for our three contenders. For Arsenal, with 50 points from 22 games, their PPG is a stunning 2.27. To put that into perspective, if they keep this up for all 38 games, they'll finish the season with about 86 points. For both Manchester City and Aston Villa, 43 points from 22 games gives them a PPG of 1.95. And this is where that 7-point gap transforms from a simple deficit into a chasm. Arsenal aren't just ahead, they're accumulating points at a much faster rate. For every 4 games played, Arsenal on average are pulling another 1.28 games clear of both City and Villa. It's a bit like a race where the lead car isn't just in front, it's also demonstrably faster than the cars chasing it. This is the uncomfortable truth of a 25-26 Premier League season. The gap is real, and the leader's pace is significantly hotter than the chasing packs. Using this PPG data as our foundation, we can now build a projection to find the exact moment when hope for City and Villa officially extinguishes. So, an 86-point season. Let that sink in for a moment. Projecting Arsenal's current PPG of 2-point season, 2.27 across a full 38-match season, gives them a total final tally of 86.3, which will round down to 86. How often does a total like that win you the title? Very, very often, in fact. In the last decade, 86 points would have been enough to win the Premier League in 5 separate seasons. It's a championship caliber total, speaking to a level of performance that isn't just good, but historically elite. This isn't a fluke, it's a machine-like accumulation of results. Their record of 15 wins, 5 draws and 2 losses in 22 matches is the bedrock of this projection. They've mastered the art of winning games they should, and crucially not losing games they shouldn't. An unbeaten home record with 9 wins and 2 draws has turned the Emirates into a fortress. The underlying numbers absolutely support this. They scored 40 goals, but it's the defence that's truly staggering, conceding just 14 goals all season. It's remarkable, an average of just 0.64 goals per game. You simply don't lose many matches when your defence is that airtight. A recent 0-0 draw at Nottingham Forest was frustrating. Sure, but it was also another clean sheet, another match where the opponent couldn't score. This solidity is the platform for their relentless PPG, or points per game. Even when they stumble, as they did recently, the model holds. The fact that them PPG remains so high, even after a couple of draws, just shows how robust their form has been all season. They built such a cushion of excellence that a minor blip, which would feel like a crisis everywhere or anywhere else, is just a small bump in the road. So we have our leader, a team on track for 86 points with a PPG of 2.27. They are the constant in our equation. Now let's turn to the chasers and start the calculation that could define the season. For years, Manchester City has been the benchmark. Under Pep Guardiola, they've been the machine, setting the unforgiving pace. This season, the shoe is on the other foot. With 43 points from 22 games, they're the ones looking up, trying to close that 7-point gap. Their PPG of 1.95 is in a vacuum very respectable. It's a form of a team that would normally be right in a title race, projected over 38 games. It would land them on about 74 points. A solid season, no doubt, but against Arsenal's 86-point race, it's a non-starter. That projects to a final gap of 12 points, a cavernous margin that shows the difference in consistency this year. Their recent form tells the story. In their last 5 games, they've only won once, drawing 3 and losing 1. That loss, a damaging 2-0 defeat away to a resurgent Manchester United, was a body blow. Not just for the points dropped, but for the momentum lost. While Arsenal were out to a draw, City were beaten, and the gap widened. So, when does the math make it official? When does it become mathematically impossible for City to win the title? Assuming both they and Arsenal maintain their current PPG. To figure this out, we need to find the tipping point. That's a match day when Arsenal's projected points total is higher than City's maximum possible total points total. That is their projected points plus 3 points for every single game left. Let's walk through it. Arsenal, 50 points. Manchester City, 43 points. Games remaining, 16. Right now, City's maximum possible total is 43 plus 16 times 16 times 3 points, which equals 91 points. Arsenal can still get more than that. Race on. Let's jump forward. After match day 30, 8 games remaining. Arsenal projected points 50 plus 8 equals 68.16. Man City's projected points 43 plus 8 games at 1.95 equals 58.6 points. City's maximum possible total from here is 58.6 plus the 24 points from the final 8 games. That gives City a theoretical maximum points of 82.68. Arsenal 68.16 is still less than 82.16. The dream mathematically is still alive, but the window is closing fast. Let's get to the business end of the season. After match day 34, 4 games remaining. Arsenal's projected points 50 plus 12 games 2.27 equals 77.24 points. Man City's projected points 43 plus 12 games at 1.95 games equals 66.4 games. City's maximum possible total now is 66 plus 4.4 plus for 12 points from the final 4 games. That's a maximum total of 78.4 points. Look how close that is. Arsenal's projected is 77.24. It's agonisingly close to City's absolute. Best case scenario is 78.4. Still possible, but only just. Now, most importantly for the tipping point, the moment of truth. After 35, match day 35, 3 games remaining. Let's calculate. Arsenal's projected points 50 plus 13 games is 2.27 points per game equals 50 plus 29.51, 79.51 points. Now for City, 43 plus 13 games, 1.95 points per game equals 43 plus 25.35 equals 68.35 points. At this point, what is the absolute maximum number of points City can finish with? It's a projected 68.35 plus the 9 points from winning their final 3 games. City's maximum possible points, 68.35 plus 9 equals 77.35 points. And there it is. After the final whistle of match day 35, based on these projections, Arsenal would have nearly 80 points. Manchester City, even with a perfect finish, could only reach a maximum of 77. It's over. The mathematical impossibility point is match day 35, if form holds. That's the week the Premier League trophy gets locked in. 3 games would still be left to play, but for the title race, they wouldn't matter. So let's look at Aston Villa. The surprise. Same story, different underdog. In what's been one of the best stories of the season, Aston Villa are right there, level on points with Manchester City in mid-January. Unai Emery has orchestrated a phenomenal run, turning Villa into a formidable unit that has defied all expectations. Their record of 13 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses for 43 points is identical to City's. Because their record is identical, their points per game is also identical. That is 1.95. This makes our analysis fascinatingly straightforward when it comes to projecting the mathematical tipping point. The numbers for Aston Villa are exactly as they were for Manchester City. Same starting point, same points per game, same result. Let's quickly confirm, however. After match day 35, 3 games remaining. Arsenal's projected points is 50 plus 13 games at 2.27, which equals 79.51 points. Aston Villa's projected points is 43 plus 13 games times 1.95, which equals 68.35 points. Aston Villa's maximum possible points, 68.35 plus 3 games remaining at 3 points a game equals 77.35 points. The conclusion is inescapable. Just like with City, the mathematical point of no return for Aston Villa is match day 35. But And here is the but. While the math is the same, the story couldn't be more different. For City, a 74-point finish would be a disappointment. For Aston Villa, a 74-point season would be a monumental achievement, likely securing Champions League football and marking their best Premier League performance in decades. And let's not forget goal difference. While it doesn't affect this specific calculation, it's huge in the real world. City's goal difference is healthy, plus 24, while Villa's is a much more modest, plus 8. That 16 goal swing effectively gives City an extra point. For Villa to finish above City, they can't just match their points, they almost have to beat them by a point. Then there's the squad depth and experience. City's squad was built for this. They have players who have won multiple titles and are used to the pressure of the running. Aston Villa, for all their brilliance, are in uncharted territory. Sustaining a 1.95 points per game is a massive ask. Their recent form with 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in their last 5 suggests the challenge is already taking its toll. One of those was a tough 1-0 loss to Everton. So, while the cold numbers say Villa's chase ends on the same day as City's, the narrative is completely different. Theirs is a story of punching above their weight, of a brilliant manager maximising his resources, and of the dream of upsetting the established order. The destination may be the same, but the journey for Unai Emery and his men is far, far more romantic. Okay, after all that math, it's time to introduce the single most important variable in football: chaos. Our model is built on that one massive assumption, that all 3 teams will maintain their current PPG for the rest of the season. It's clean and logical, but football is rarely clean and logical. It's a sport of momentum, swings, shocking upsets, and pure human drama. So what could shatter our tidy model? Factor 1, fixture difficulty. Our model treats every game the same. A home game against the 20th place team is worth the same as an away game against the top 4 rival. We know that's not true. A look at the remaining fixtures reveals some serious turbulence for Arsenal. For instance, they still have to travel to Manchester City on April the 18th. That one game is a massive potential swing. On the flip side, analysis suggests Arsenal might have a slightly easier run-in during May, facing teams like Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, and Crystal Palace. Aston Villa, meanwhile, faces a brutal end to their campaign, playing Liverpool at home and then travelling to Manchester City for the final day of the season. That's a nightmare scenario. Factor 2, head-to-head clashes. This is the big one. As mentioned, Arsenal still have to play Manchester City away. That match is the ultimate chaos factor. Our model can't account for the seismic impact of that single 90-minute encounter. A City victory there would blow a hole in our predictions, directly reducing Arsenal's points whilst boosting City's. Likewise, that final day clash between City and Villa could be a winner takes all fight for a Champions League spot, or even more. Form is temporary, or is it? PPG is an average of the past, not a guarantee of the future. Teams get hot and teams go cold. Who's to say Manchester City, a team famous for its blistering late season runs, won't suddenly find a new gear and win 10 games in a row? Conversely, Arsenal's recent record includes 2 straight draws. Is that a blip or a wobble? And what about injuries? Well, a key player getting a long-term injury could derail a season in an instant. Factor 4, the weight of competition. All 3 of these clubs are still fighting in other competitions, at home and in Europe. Deep runs in the Champions League or FA Cup mean more games, more fatigue, and a greater risk of injury. Fixture congestion in April and May can be a season killer. A team that gets knocked out early can focus solely on the league, giving them a huge advantage in freshness. It's another layer of unpredictability our simple PPG model can't account for. These factors don't mean our analysis is wrong. The projection is a powerful tool for understanding the sheer scale of the challenge, but they are a critical reminder that the Premier League isn't played on a spreadsheet. So, what do you think? Are you a believer in the cold, hard math that points to an Arsenal coronation on match day 35? Or do you believe in the chaos of football? That a huge twist is still to come? Let me know your predictions in the comments and tell me which of these chaos factors you think will be most important. And if you're enjoying this dive into the numbers behind the beautiful game, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. And you will want to see what's next. So after running the numbers and weighing the what ifs, what's the verdict? The data tells a clear story. Based on the form from the first 22 games of the season, Arsenal are not just leading the Premier League, they are running away with it. Their points per game of 2.27 sets a pace that neither Manchester City nor Aston Villa, with their shared points per game of 1.95, can realistically hope to match. Our projection model gives us a definitive date. It shows that after match day 35, it will become mathematically impossible for either Manchester City or Aston Villa to catch the Gunners. At that point, Arsenal's projected total of 79.5 will have surpassed the absolute maximum of either of their challengers. That final projected table, if these trends hold, would see Arsenal crowned champions with about 86 points, a full 12 points clear of City and Villa, who would both finish on around 74 points. But this is where we have to draw the line between a projection and a prediction. The data points to an Arsenal procession, a coronation waiting to happen. 13 games from now, it paints a picture of inevitability. Get my teeth in properly, I think, if I had any. Yet, we all know football is more than just math. It's about passion, drama, and that glorious unpredictability of it all. It's about the pressure of a six-pointer, that heartbreak of a last-minute goal, and the potential for a historic collapse or an unbelievable surge. The numbers have laid out the most likely path. They've shown us the enormous mountain facing Manchester City and Aston Villa. But a path is not a destination. And while the math may be against them, the fight isn't over until it's mathematically impossible. Thank you for watching. And until next time, come on, you Gunners.